Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio, so today I am showing you a very exciting new deck. It's Vikavolt, and it's Tapu Bulu. And if you're thinking, hang on a second, Ross, haven't you been showing me quite a lot of exciting new decks lately? The answer is yes. Yes, I have. We're in a very good place in the format at the moment. There are a whole bunch of really fun new decks coming out, and I intend to show you every single one of them. So starting off, the main attacker in this deck, the new promo card, Tapu Bulu. Only available in his own tin for the moment, but incredibly good. 180 HP is good, but what's more impressive here is the complete and utter lack of weakness. Even against a deck like Volcanion, where you would assume they'd be hitting for weakness, they are not, although they can use Steam Up to get the one-hit KO anyway. They can do Horn Attack for 30 damage, which is fine, I suppose. It's not great, 60 with a Choice Band, but really here, the main attack is Nature's Judgment. 120 for free energy is enough to KO a whole bunch of things like Zoroark and Garbodor that are seeing a bunch of play at the moment. But more importantly, you can discard all the energy attached to Tapu Bulu, and you can do 180 damage flat out. That's incredibly good. Add a choice band on that bad boy, you're doing 210, and stage 1 GXs are falling before you. That's an awful lot of damage for free energy. You do have to discard all your energy, but don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we've got you covered. And then you've got the GX attack Tapu Wilderness, which I really like here. 150 and completely heal Tapu Bulu. Whack a choice band on there and you're now doing 180, which is one of the key numbers in the Pokemon trading card game. And let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you can take a KO while healing all the damage that's on you, that has got to be a good thing. And if you use this at the right turn, you're taking potentially 2 prizes while completely healing yourself, and you're going up by 2 prizes and sitting there with 180 HP, 0 weakness Pokemon with no damage on. Tapu Bulu, ladies and gentlemen, is a little bit of a tank. As a side note, you could use Fighting Fury Belt here to increase his HP, but because Field Blower's around nowadays getting rid of things like Fighting Fury Belt, and because you need Choice Band to hit these numbers here, you really are going Choice Band over Fighting Fury Belt. Now that we've got that out of the way, I suppose we should probably have a look at the other main card in this deck. It's Vikavolt from Sun and Moon. Now this came out in Sun and Moon, not Guardians Rising. He's been out for a little while, so why is it good now? Because we finally have the attacker in Tapu Bulu. Here, Vikavolt is all about the ability Strong Charge. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a Grass Energy and a Lightning Energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. That means you could attach 2 energy to one Pokemon, but you could actually attach the Grass to one of your Pokemon and the Lightning to another. Now, because Tapu Bulu's attacks all have a colourless element to the attack cost, except Horn Attack, which doesn't count because it's a single energy, that means that you can attach a Grass and a Lightning to Tapu Bulu. Then you attach a Grass from your hand, and in one turn you've got the free energy needed on Tapu Bulu to use Nature's Judgment. And that is especially important here, because now you can do 180, discard all the energy attached to Tapu Bulu, and then use Strong Charge to get all that energy straight back on again using Vikavolt. It really is utterly fantastic. Now Vikavolt's got a decent attack, 150 for 4 energy, and a choice band that does 180, which is that magic number, and it is a non-GX Pokemon that only gives up 1 prize. But you still have to discard the free energy like you would for Bulu, and it costs 4 energy rather than 3, and you've got 150 HP weak to fighting rather than 180 HP weak to nothing, so you can use Vikavolt here to attack. Most of the time you're going to be using Tapu Bulu. But do remember Vikavolt, ladies and gentlemen, because honestly, there are times when taking a prize with a single prize attacker could swing that prize trade in your favour and win you the game. The retreat cost of 3 on Vikavolt is kind of rubbish, but we're going to be playing a whole bunch of Floatstone to try and mitigate that. Now there are some other Pokemon we want to play in this deck. Stop me if you've heard of these before. Tapu Koko, 2 energy, 20 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon. I know I mentioned Tapu Koko in pretty much every deck at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what? Yes. Yes, I do, and I'm sorry, but I've kind of got to at the moment. It's that gosh darned good, to be perfectly honest with you. It sets up attacks, it is a good attacker when you've got nothing you really want to do, and it means that when you do attack, those numbers are slightly better. Stage 2 GXs are going to have 240, 250 HP, Tapu Bulu's hitting 210, with a choice band for the most. But as soon as you start doing a couple of attacks with Tapu Koko, you are absolutely on the money. It's going to be played in almost every deck, and you know what? It really should be. Vikavolt GX is an interesting card, because there were 3 of these Vikavolt Bulu decks that top cut at the Birmingham Regional Championships. None of them played Vikavolt GX. What's the argument here? Well, firstly, you've got 240 HP and a resistance to metal, but if you're playing against a fighting deck, do not get Vikavolt GX out. We've also got Super Zap Cannon, which just does a flat 180 for 4 energy, and of course 210 with a choice band, which is pretty nice, and it only discards 2 energy, rather than the 3 that Vikavolt and Tapu Bulu need to discard. They're alright, but what I really like here is Gigatron GX, 60 damage to all of your opponent's benched Pokemon. That, ladies and gentlemen, is absurd. Now, one really good play you can do here is play it with a single copy of Wide Lens, and then you're doing 120 to any benched Lightning Weak Pokemon, like, for instance, Shaymin. The problem is that now Guardians Rising's out, people are playing more Lele and less Shaymin, so unfortunately that means that this is not as good as it once may have been, but either way, it's a nice tech to keep in mind. What I would say is, if you're playing Vikavolt GX, do make sure that you're playing a wide lens as well, just for the Gigatron GX fun time. Although, of course, you do then lose your Tapu Bulu's Tapu Wilderness, so something to bear in mind as well. I like it as a tech. Now, you've also here going to be playing around potentially with a Alolan Vulpix, as with any evolution deck at the moment, because Beacon is too gosh darn good to search out your Pokemon. And as I've said in all my videos lately, if you're playing a Alolan Vulpix, you might as well play an Alolan Ninetales, because it's got a couple of good attacks for just 2 colourless energy, and Vikavolt will help you to get that energy out. Although again, the decks that did well in Birmingham did well without playing this. You might need Shaymin here, although a lot of decks are dropping it nowadays. You will need Tapu Lele. It's a nice attacker. You can always just use Vikavolt to pile a bunch of energy on there and smash, but mostly here it's Wonder Tag to search out the supporters. The first of which will be the first of our other key cards. It's Bridget. And I know I keep mentioning Bridget in all these decks lately, because you know what? Get used to seeing, I'm going to search for a Tapu Lele, I'm going to use Wonder Tag for a Bridget and search out 3 basics. You're going to go for 2 Grubbins and a Tapu Bulu, and you're going to sit there ready to evolve a Vikavolt next turn, as long as you can hit that rare candy. Bridget, turn 1 is so good. It wasn't played before because it was too difficult to find. Now that we've got Tapu Lele, it isn't too difficult to find, and out comes Bridget. Rare Candy is going to be very, very important here, because although you can evolve up manually, Rare Candy allows you to evolve up 1 turn earlier by going straight from a Grubbin into a Vikavolt. You need to recover here, and Brock's Grit, I think, has got to be your recovery card of choice, because not only do you need to recover these Pokemon, but as we're going to talk about in a minute, Lightning Energy is a weirdly important card in this deck. You're going to need to recover it. We saw a game on the Birmingham livestream won because the player used Brock's Grit to put their Lightning Energy back into their deck so they could grab it out with Vikavolt's Strong Charge. Choice Band is key to hit that 180. Max Potion is a huge card here, and the reason is your main attacker is Tapu Bulu. The main attack you're using with Tapu Bulu is Nature's Judgment, which leaves him with 0 energy remaining, meaning that you've then got no energy on, so Max Potion will just heal you completely. There is no energy to discard. There is no downside. Ladies and gentlemen, this is awesome. Heavy Ball is a weirdly important card in this deck. It's not a card we talk about all that much as being a key card, but Heavy Ball allows you to search for any Pokemon with a retreat cost of 3 or more, and there's no downside like where Ultra Ball you have to discard 2 cards in your hand. Well, Vikavolt's got a retreat cost of 3, and Tapu Bulu's got a retreat cost of 3, and they're the main 2 cards you're going to want to be searching for in the mid to late game, and often in the early game as well. So, yeah, there we go. Although weirdly, Vikavolt GX has got a retreat cost of 1, so if you are playing that, Heavy Ball ain't going to help you out much. I apologise. Field Blower is going to be very important because you are weak, ladies and gentlemen, to ability lock. If your opponent plays a Hex Maniac, there's nothing you can do. You haven't got abilities for the following turn. That sucks. But if your opponent plays a Garbodor and attaches a tool, there absolutely is something you can do. And the list that did really well in Birmingham, or the list, because there were 2 players playing the same list, they played free Field Blower because it's too important not to have. They also played free Floatstone, because Vikavolt's got a high retreat cost, Tapu Bulu's got a high retreat cost. It means you can grab them with Heavy Ball, and that's wonderful, but it also means that a Lysander to bring them up and stall is a big thing that can be done, so you need here to be able to retreat them, and that's where Floatstone comes in. The big question in this deck is how many lightning energy do you play? Obviously you're attacking with Tapu Bulu most of the time, obviously grass is your main type of energy. But because Vikavolt allows you to grab a grass and a lightning out of the deck with strong charge, you need to be playing a couple of lightning energy. The best decks in Birmingham played free lightning energy, but then you're in a bit of a awkward situation where you might not have them and you're ending up using strong charge for 1 energy when you could grab 2. Remember that they've got to be in your deck, not your hand, so if you play an N and draw into the lightning energy, that means that you're not going to be able to strong charge for them. Bear that in mind when you're playing the deck. Use strong charge before you play that N. As an example, Brock's Grit here is going to help massively, of course, because then you can pop all these energy back in. Now, you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. There is a comment section. Tell me what you think about this deck. Honestly, I love it, and I'm very, very excited about playing it in the very near future. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter @TheWassy. The most important thing, as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.